She thought it was just a prank call, a crackling voice from a disconnected phone, whispering from the past. But when Lily answered, she didn't just hear 1983, she opened it. Now, reality is slipping, and the voices are no longer confined to the line. What happens when a call doesn't end even after you hang up? The rain hadn't stopped for hours. Heavy droplets battered the apartment windows like a warning, and distant thunder rolled with an unsettling rhythm. Lily Carter sat curled on her thrift store couch, wrapped in a blanket that couldn't quite chase away the chill. She was newly moved into this downtown apartment. Cheap, old, and with a vintage charm that had seduced her into signing the lease. It was supposed to be temporary, just a stepping stone, until tonight. The rotary phone mounted on the wall rang. Not her cell, not the wireless landline she barely used. This was a heavy black relic left by the previous tenant. A piece of the 1980s no one had bothered to remove. It had never rung before, and yet it rang again, harsh, mechanical, insistent. Lily stared at it, goosebumps crawling across her arms. Why was it connected? She approached slowly, her breath fogging the cool air, and picked up the receiver. Hello? A pause, then static, and then a voice. A woman's voice, shaking and distant. Is it still 1983? Please, tell me who's president. Lily froze, her heart pounding. What did you say? I don't have long, the voice said. I thought this number would still work. You have to listen. They're coming. They're coming again. A burst of static cut through, and then silence. Lily pulled the phone from her ear. The line was dead. She placed the receiver back, shaken, and turned to look around the apartment. Suddenly, everything felt unfamiliar. Every corner, every shadow, every creak of the old building's bones. What kind of prank was this? Who would do this? That night, she couldn't sleep. The phone didn't ring again, but she dreamt of dim hallways and flickering lights, of a girl her age screaming into a phone, of a calendar flipping backward, stopping at 1983. The next day, Lily did her best to forget about it. Maybe it was a cross wire or some elaborate prank, but when she came home from work, something was off. Her keys stuck in the lock. When she stepped into the apartment, the air felt heavier, more humid. Her breath clouded the air even though it was mid-May. On the coffee table sat a newspaper, yellowed, brittle. The headline read, "Missing college student disappears without a trace, March 1983. Lily backed away from the table. She hadn't brought that paper in. She didn't even own any vintage papers. The photo beneath the headline sent a chill through her. The girl looked familiar. The same tired eyes, same narrow nose. She looked like the voice on the phone. Lily took the paper to the local library and dove into the archives. The missing girl's name was Rachel Klein. She was 22, a student at Harrington University. Disappeared from her apartment after telling a friend she'd been receiving strange phone calls. Her case went cold, the same number Lily now lived in. Digging deeper, Lily uncovered an old police report. A neighbor had claimed Rachel spoke to someone every night for a week, then screamed loud enough to wake the whole floor before she vanished. Lily's hands trembled. The address, the unit number, it was the same. That night, Lily sat across from the phone, waiting. She stared at it for hours, jumping at every creak, every thunderclap. At 2:13 a.m., it rang again. She answered it without hesitation. "Rachel?" she asked. The voice on the other end was the same, but more frantic this time. "They found me. I thought maybe I changed something by calling you." Lily's heart pounded. Who found you? Static. I don't know what they are. They live in the time between seconds. Don't trust the mirrors. Don't. The line crackled again. Then something new. A deep, unnatural growl, not human. The sound of something breathing, slow and wet and too close. Then the call ended. Lily turned to look at the hallway mirror after the call. It was supposed to reflect her, but it didn't. Instead, the mirror showed a different room. Rachel's room from 1983. Wall posters of Bowie and Blondie, a chunky TV set, and a rotary phone ringing beside an empty bed. And behind the bed, something crawled. Tall, jointless limbs, eyes like holes in paper, watching her through the mirror, watching through time. She screamed and threw a blanket over the mirror, backing away, heart racing. This was no prank, no mistake. She was caught in something older than her understanding. Lily didn't sleep. The mirror, still covered by a blanket, loomed like a portal sealed only by cloth. She avoided looking at it, but she could feel it, a pressure in the air, like someone watching from behind glass. Her thoughts kept returning to Rachel's voice. They live in the time between seconds. At 7 a.m., her digital clock blinked strangely. 6:59, then 6 hours 60 minutes, then reset to 7 o'clock. That wasn't possible. She tore the blanket off the mirror. It was her reflection again. Just her room. Normal. But for a second, her reflection didn't move. It stared at her, smiling faintly. Then it caught up. She backed away, breath shallow. Whatever this was, it wasn't just haunting her. It was leaking in. Lily needed proof. She bought an old cassette recorder from a thrift store, set it beside the rotary phone, and waited. Hours passed. The sky turned black. The rain returned. Again, at 2:13 a.m., the phone rang. She pressed record and picked up. Rachel? This time, the voice was clearer. They're in your time now. I thought calling someone would change things, but I think I opened the door wider. Lily's throat tightened. What do they want? To watch, to wait, to replace. The voice broke into static, and a low whisper bled to the line. Tick, tick, tick. Between the ticks, we slipped. The call cut. Lily pressed stop. The tape spun out. In the morning, Lily returned to the library, researching Harrington University and Rachel's background. There was a legend buried in student blogs and local ghost lore about a clock with no hands in the east wing of the university, sealed off since the 80s. Students reported hearing whispers, reflections that didn't match their movements, and sudden gaps in time. Rachel had lived on campus. She had filed a complaint about a clock in the East Hall. The same clock. Lily visited the campus. The east wing was locked and abandoned. Paint peeled from the walls. The air smelled like metal and dust. At the end of the hallway was the clock, a massive wooden-faced antique with no hands. It still ticked. She stood in front of it and listened. The ticking wasn't right. It didn't mark time, it swallowed it. That night, Lily played the recording again. The whisper was louder now, clearer. Tick, tick, tick. She is waiting. Then silence. She turned and nearly screamed. In the hallway mirror stood Rachel. Not a ghost, not translucent, solid and breathing, as if she were trapped inside. She pounded her fist against the glass, mouth moving, but Lily heard nothing. Lily pressed her palm to the mirror. Rachel's eyes widened, and she stepped back, pointing behind Lily. Lily turned slowly. Behind her, the rotary phone receiver dangled off the hook, swaying gently. She hadn't touched it. Lily put the receiver back, but the phone immediately rang again. She answered it with trembling hands. "You're not alone anymore," the voice said. It wasn't Rachel. It was male, raspy, inhuman. "Tell me the year. Tell me the president. Let me in." Lily slammed the receiver down, but the phone didn't stop ringing. She unplugged it. It kept ringing. She yanked the cord from the wall. Still it rang, louder now, like it was inside her head. Then silence. When she looked again, the phone was back on the hook, plugged in. Rachel appeared in the mirror again. This time, Lily could hear her. "You have to come here. You have to switch places with me. It's the only way. That's why the phone connects. It needs someone on both sides." Lily shook her head. "You want me to go back to 1983? You already started slipping. They'll come through. It's either you or everyone else." A deep crack formed in the mirror. From behind Rachel, a shadow moved, tall, with too many limbs. She screamed, "Lily, you have to do it now." The mirror flashed white, and then went black. Lily didn't remember falling asleep. She woke on the floor beneath the mirror, her head pounding and her ears ringing with invisible static. The mirror was shattered, not into pieces, but like spider webs across the surface. frozen in time. Every crack shimmered faintly, glowing from within like veins of light. Her reflection was missing. Instead, she saw another room through the broken glass, a dormitory room. The walls were lined with 80s posters. A boxy television flickered in grayscale. Rachel was standing inside, screaming soundlessly as something dragged her backward into shadow. And behind Lily's shoulder, in the real world, something moved. Determined to understand, Lily returned to university and broke into the old dormitory archives. Hidden in a sealed maintenance drawer behind an old desk, she found it, Rachel's journal. It was water damaged, some pages stuck together, others torn, but readable. Rachel had documented everything. Strange gaps of memory, calls from her future self, and nightmares that bled into reality. One entry stood out. March 9, 1983. I tried smashing the mirror. It only made it angry. The more I try to leave, the more I slip. Time doesn't pass here, it coils. I think I've already died. I just haven't finished yet. Lily's heart thundered. Rachel hadn't just been trapped. She had been living outside time, waiting. That night, Lily set up a camera to record the mirror. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the footage turned to static. But the audio, oh God, the audio played whispers layered over each other like 1,000 voices speaking at once. I see you. Between. Your skin fits well. Time is open. Step through. She paused the tape at 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 47 seconds. There, in the frozen static, were faces. Not human, not complete, stretching out of the distortion. Their eyes were empty sockets, and their mouths formed perfect circles, as if screaming silently across eternity. They weren't ghosts. They were passengers. Lily received another call, but this one wasn't from Rachel. It was a man. Calm, too calm. I've been waiting for this number to be answered again. I used to teach at Harrington. They told me it was an experiment, that the mirrors were part of the study, but it was never science. It was a door, a trap for the soul. Who are you? Lily whispered. I was the first to answer the call. March 3rd, 1983. Now I'm part of the in-between. But you're still half in. You can leave if you act before the clock strikes 2:14. Then the line went dead. Lily looked up. The mirror flickered. The clock on her wall was stuck at 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 59 seconds, refusing to move. Lily placed her hand against the mirror. It felt warm now, almost alive. The cracks vibrated softly, like breathing. Rachel appeared again, bruised and pale, eyes pleading. Now, she mouthed. Now, or they'll take someone else. The air turned heavy. The phone began ringing again, louder than ever. Her television blared static. The lights dimmed and flared. Everything was converging. She pushed harder. The glass didn't break. It rippled. With a final scream of defiance, Lily stepped through and vanished. Inside, the air smelled of iron and mildew. Lily stood in Rachel's dorm room, real and solid. She turned to the mirror and saw her apartment on the other side. Except someone else stood in her place. Rachel, smiling. But something was wrong. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Her eyes were wrong. Too still. Too quiet. Lily slammed her fist on the mirror. You said it would save everyone. Rachel tilted her head. It did. It saved me. Then she turned, picked up the phone in Lily's apartment and unplugged it. The mirror went black. Lily screamed, but no sound came. Behind her, the clock with no hands ticked louder. Lily wanted the dorm room, but something was wrong. The windows showed no outside world, just swirling gray mist, pulsing like a living fog. The walls, though faded and aged, bled faint trails of movement, like echoes stuck in loop. She saw Rachel over and over, pacing, crying, screaming, but never truly present. They were memories, stitched into the walls like wounds that never healed. The air was thick with dust and something else. Despair, perhaps. There were no clocks, no sounds. Time didn't pass here. It waited. And the mirror was black now. No reflection, no doorway, just a slab of silence. The door to the hallway creaked open by itself. Lily stepped into a corridor, lit only by flickering fluorescent bulbs. The halls were lined with other dorm rooms, their doors half open, leaking shadows. In some, she glimpsed forms, people trapped mid-motion, crying, talking, laughing, frozen like paused video frames. Then came the children. They emerged from the far end, barefoot, faces smeared with static. Their eyes blinked in and out of existence, their mouths constantly moving, whispering things too low to hear. They reached for her, not in anger, but in need. "Did you call?" one rasped. "We answered too," said another. It was always a game with no end. Lily backed away, heart pounding. The lights overhead began to pop one by one. Lily ran until she stumbled to an old broadcasting room, clearly untouched for decades. Dust-covered equipment lined the walls, reel-to-reel machines, analog monitors, and a large switchboard labeled Echo Transmission Line. She recognized the symbol etched into the metal, the same one from Rachel's journal. A spiral surrounded by a circle of eyes. A flickering screen powered on by itself, showing her apartment. Rachel was there, smiling, serene, pouring tea as if nothing had happened. Then the screen glitched. The footage changed. It now showed Lily sitting in the same room, unplugging the phone. But she had never done that. It was looping, changing, rewriting. Suddenly, a burst of static blasted from the speakers. Once a signal is received, it cannot be unreceived. She wasn't alone. A figure sat hunched over a broken console at the back of the room. At first, Lily thought he was dead, but then he turned slowly, his face a grotesque mix of flesh and interference, like a person rendered by static. He wore an old university technician's uniform, and his ID badge read, M. Reeves, 1983. "You're her," he croaked. "You picked up. You open again." Lily backed up. "Why are you here? I tried to shut it down years ago, but it just shifted me. Time's not aligned here. It's a whirlpool. You're in the broadcast now. What does it want?" Voices, willing ones. Each call answered anchors on the further end. Every call is an offering. He twitched violently, his face glitching. "Don't speak back. Never speak back." Then he exploded into a burst of white noise, his body scattering into particles that dissolved into the floor. The switchboard began to buzz. One light lit up, labeled Outgoing Transmission. Lily stared at it. A call was being made. To her. Her phone was ringing on the monitor again, the old rotary one. Rachel picked it up. "Hi, Lily," she said sweetly. "You're early. I haven't even died yet." Lily screamed into the mic. "Why are you doing this?" Rachel smiled wider. "Because they only needed one of us to say yes. And I already did in 1983. Behind her, the mirror in Lily's apartment cracked. The call disconnected. The broadcast room trembled. Outside, the gray fog pressed against the windows like ocean water behind glass. Lily found a fail-safe switch. Hard disconnect. A label beneath it read, "Danger. Terminate signal source." She hesitated. If she pulled it, she might sever the connection forever. End the calls. End the mirror. But would it trap her here? Or worse, let something else escape? Footsteps echoed behind her. The static children were coming. The technician's words rang in her ears. Each call is an offering. Lily pulled the switch. Everything exploded into static. Then silence. Lily's eyes snapped open. She was lying on the cold wooden floor of her apartment. Her rotary phone sat quietly on the end table, dusty, disconnected. No lights flickered. No static hummed. The mirror on the wall was intact, uncracked, still dead. The silence was deafening. She stood slowly. Every sound felt unnaturally sharp. Her breath, the creak of floor, the rustle of her clothes. Outside, daylight seeped in, but it looked sterile, like it wasn't quite real. Lily checked her phone. No missed calls. No messages. It was as if nothing had ever happened, except for the whisper. It came from behind the walls. Faint, muffled, as if someone were talking on the other side of reality itself. Drawn by instinct or dread, Lily approached the mirror. For the first time since the call, she could see herself. Pale, shaken, real, but something moved in the reflection behind her. She turned. Nothing. She looked back. There was again, a shape, tall and bent, standing just behind her in the mirror. Even though the space behind her was empty, she turned the mirror over. On the back, someone had etched words into the wood. "We never left." And under it, a symbol, a spiral of eyes. Suddenly, the mirror began to vibrate, not shake, hum, as if it were sinking to a frequency beyond human hearing. Lily dropped it. It didn't shatter. It didn't even clatter. It simply paused. Later that night, the phone rang. Not her cell phone. The rotary phone. Still unplugged. Lily didn't answer. She watched it ring 14 times before it stopped. Then a knock at the door. When she opened it, Rachel was standing there. Not the young Rachel from the 80s. This Rachel was older. Her hair touched with gray. Her eyes hollow with decades of sleepless nights. "I thought I closed it," she whispered. "I was wrong. They found a new way in." Lily backed away, but Rachel stepped forward. "They aren't coming through the mirror anymore," she said. "They're coming through us." Rachel pulled something from her coat pocket, a rusted tuning fork. "They taught us to use this," she said. "It resonates with the frequency of a dead transmission. When you strike it, it opens, but only for a second, just long enough to send something back." Lily stared at the strange instrument. "Why give this to me?" "Because I've seen what happens if we don't. I saw my mother vanish mid-call. I saw a friend step into a hallway and never stop walking. You pulled the switch. You stopped the primary broadcast. But they're inside the echoes now, in the wiring, the walls. You can't outrun that." Rachel struck the tuning fork against the wall. A deep, vibrating tone filled the apartment, and then the walls screamed. They returned to the broadcast room. It was decayed now, half consumed by vines and rot, as if centuries had passed. The switchboard was shattered, the screen broken, but the transmitter remained. Rachel set the tuning fork into a cradle at its base. "This is the source now," she said. "We have to reverse the flow. Transmit back." Lily hesitated. "What if it sends us to—" Rachel looked her in the eyes. "Then we go, but they stay." She activated the transmission. The air warped. Lily felt her thoughts peel away from her body. A high-pitched shriek flooded the room. Thousands of voices, crying out in reverse. Then silence. The fog outside the windows dissipated. The transmitter smoked. Rachel fell to her knees, smiling. "It's done," she whispered. "It's done." But Lily wasn't so sure. Back in her apartment, Lily sat in silence. The rotary phone was gone. The mirror was whole. She looked at her modern cell phone, lying quietly on the table. It buzzed once. A text message. Unknown number. "Hello, Lily. We're still here." She dropped the phone. From inside the walls, the voices whispered again, no longer faint. They were clear, bold, calling her name. She walked to the mirror. This time, she didn't see herself. She saw a room, a woman, a mirror, and on the other side, a new Lily picking up a phone. Some calls don't need a number. Some voices don't need a signal. She thought she ended it. She thought they were gone. But now they speak through walls, mirrors, and memories. When you answer a call from 1983, you don't just connect. You invite. Frame picture, ultra-detailed image, prompt for outro scene.